And the co-defensive coordinator and D-line coach at Illinois is Terrance Jamison, who joins us now. He is one of the guys very responsible for the development of Johnny Newton, who Washington took in the second round at pick 36. So, Coach, first of all, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it. How are you?
Doing well. Appreciate you guys having me on the show. This is pretty cool time in my career to, get a chance to celebrate a young man like Johnny and his accomplishments. So it's pretty cool.
We've had a few guests on since the draft, and we've been asking, what's your favorite pick or where did Washington maybe get the most value? And to a man, they keep bringing up Johnny, who frankly was not on our radar because you got Daron Payne and John Allen here, and we didn't think defensive tackle was an area they would look to address, but it seems like they just viewed the value as too good at 36. So I guess let's just start with the player that Washington's getting. Why are they so smitten? Why did they feel like they couldn't pass on him?
Man, I'm a strong believer. If you got a great quarterback and a great D-line, you're going to win Super Bowls, man, championships, etc. But, man, they definitely got a steal. And Johnny is blessed to be in a great organization like the Commanders, and I'm sure the Commanders and the fan base are excited about having Johnny. He's a tremendous player, but even more than that, he's a pro. He's a mature, great young man, and he loves football. And it's been a great joy to have coached him over the past 3 years. So both sides are going to benefit greatly for sure.
Coach, when you first got your hands on him, what did you guys identify as, the points to work on? You call the weaknesses, call them whatever you want. And then how did you attack those for his constant improvement?
Yeah, I mean, raw talent when we first got there, tremendous skill set, ability to transition from power to speed to power. So he can do all the things necessary to have success on the D-line, all the jobs across the D-line. In every situation, it was just important to hone that talent into the scheme in terms of what we're trying to get done. But very coachable, very highly intelligent. Johnny was a guy that's just easy to shape and mold as we went through it. But I grew as a coach as well, just learning from him and the different things we were able to do with him and for him over these past 3 years. It's been great.
Johnny Newton this past year, 7.5 sacks, a career high, 8.5 tackles for loss. After they drafted him, I go back and I watch him a little bit. Man, does he get upfield. They talk about he finishes violently. You can kind of see that explode on all of his highlight reels. What is the differentiator in his game? Why was he viewed as one of the top couple D tackles in the country?
Johnny had a great skill set, for one, to rush the passer, but more importantly, do it on early downs. When you can get after the quarterback on early downs, it really doubles your opportunity for production. But the ability to transition your rush from run fundamentals to pass rush is hard to do, especially at the college level. The ball's out quick. There's a lot of RPO. But for Johnny, his skill set and the attention of his focus on the field to play with great run fundamentals, body control, knee bend, playing with extension, it allowed him to transition his rush. And obviously the skill set speaks for itself, his speed, quickness, and power. He was able to get to that quarterback on early downs, and that really, increased his production, ultimately getting after the quarterback.
Coach, what do you feel like Johnny's going to be able to do right away when he sets foot on campus here in the NFL, and then maybe a couple years down the line? Where could you see him, and how could you see him developing, and what kind of player?
Yeah, right away he's going to be able to connect with Coach Quinn and his staff and build that relationship first and foremost, and really get a feel for what the scheme is and what's being asked of him in the role that they're gonna play him at, and from there he's just gonna skyrocket. The reps are gonna come, the training is gonna come, but he'll be a guy that's gonna make an immediate impact and be able to play right away. But because he works at it, he's a pro. When I say he's a pro, he has a routine. He lives his routine, and he's consistent. And so for Johnny, it's like, hey, let's stack days. If I have a good day yesterday, well, that's the pass. So just really excited about him because he's eager to learn. He's coachable. And I think the first thing he's going to look forward to doing is building that relationship with the coaching staff.
When they play that traditional four-man front, it goes without saying that he'll spell Payne or Allen, help give them a breather. What about when they're going with either like a three-man front or a five-man like Bear front? Do you think that he could kick over and play a five-tech, or is he better suited over top the center as a nose in a three-man front? And then similarly, my thought is forget waiting until next year to really incorporate him a ton when one of those guys leaves. Let's get him on the field now with those guys already and have all three of them playing tackle. Like in that situation, is he better off maybe on the nose or on the side of the center? How do you see that?
Man, that's awesome, man. Great point that you bring up, man. And so with Johnny at Illinois, we were actually able to play him in all those roles. He played over the center, played over both guards, played over the tackles, whether we were in our Bear front and we were in our even front. He's done all those jobs.
He played like some five-tech outside, too?
Yeah, we played him in the five technique against Mississippi State in the bowl game in 22.
Wow.
At the beginning of 23, so he played a little bit out there as well. Played a little bit out there on third down, depending on the opponent. But, yeah, he's done all those jobs across the front, and it's proven to produce at those spots as well. So, man, they're really going to have a guy that they can plug and play in any situation, all down and distance. So that's got to be exciting for Coach Quinn and his staff.
Terrance Jamison with us here on Grant and Danny. Coached Washington second-round pick Johnny Newton, giving us some insight here for a few minutes. Did you show him a couple pros, like kind of his comp, saying, hey, this is what I think you could do on this play, or, behave this way, or get off a block like this? Or are there a couple guys maybe that you showed him, then who would you kind of comp him to, just to kind of get our mindset here?
But he loves Aaron Donald,
Good one.
He loves football in general, but we showed him a lot of Aaron Donald film, Ed Oliver film, Grady Jarrett. We went through a lot of that, gave him a project, him and the D-line. We watched a lot of Kitty Clark. Kitty Clark plays tremendous fundamentals against the run, and obviously Aaron Donald, he does all the jobs up front. So, we always watch those guys. Any chance we get, for sure, Deron Payne as well. Anytime we can watch an example of a pro doing the jobs and things that we're trying to emphasize up front, we definitely took advantage of that opportunity, especially in the off season of studying that film. But those are some of the examples.
I don't remember the specific details, but he played with an injury. I think it might have even been a fracture in his foot, right, this year, and he played through it and still was one of the top 2 D tackles on a lot of people's boards. What exactly was he playing through, and how much did it affect him, if at all?
So it's interesting you say that. So one of the guys I got a chance to meet is high school coach during the draft party, and they talked about his sophomore year. He was playing running back for halfway through the season. It was playing tailback, and they noticed when he was on defense, no issues, making plays in the backfield. But when he was playing running back, his straight ahead runs were productive. But anytime he made a cut, they noticed he limped a little bit. And, just say, hey, just, stop being soft. Let's be tough, But after about 4 weeks, I said, we need to get this checked out. And Johnny was playing his whole high school season that year on a fractured leg. But it ended up healing up on him. But about this last season, we didn't know. We did not know. He was playing his normal production, practice habits, effort, everything was as normal. And then after the season, we found out he got his foot looked at and needed a procedure done. So just something that just came up after the season that he said he needs to get checked out. So I'm glad he got it healed up and he's ready to go.
Coach, give me something that Johnny struggled with at one point, maybe early on or kind of at any point. And then I'd love for you to kind of walk us through how he overcame that, right? Something that was either a challenge you put before him or something that he wasn't getting right away. Anything that that comes to mind, someone who worked so closely with him, something that he struggled with and then overcame.
Yeah. Well, any challenge that Johnny faced, he always worked at it. One thing about Johnny, just from a personality standpoint, Johnny loves to win, but he hates to lose. And so under Coach B, we're going about this thing day by day to build this Illinois brand the right way and take it one day at a time and have that 1-0 mentality. But we've had some bumps in the road along the way these past 3 seasons, and so he's an ultimate competitor. And one of the things he had to work on is being a great teammate. And ultimately that led to him being voted team captain his last year there at the University of Illinois. But hates to lose. And so having that competitive drive, right, being a good teammate, being a leader, guys that one that guys not only respect and lead, follow by example, but also one that speaks the right words into his teammates, edify those guys, build them up, and those are things we continue to work on, not just the football player, but the young man overall. So I'm very proud of him and how he's grown over these years and what he's got in front of him.
DLine coach, co-defensive coordinator at Illinois, Coach Terrance Jamison is with us here on Grant and Danny. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm pretty sure Washington drafted all team captains, and that was pretty clearly an emphasis for them that they cared a lot about. One last thing on Johnny. Did you guys have a feel for where he was supposed to go? Like, we've gotten the impression from people we've talked to since the draft that it was pretty shocking he was still there at 36. I know that the draft's unpredictable, but what was the thought going into it?
Well, it is. It's very unpredictable. We expected Johnny to go high, somewhere in the first round, but we've been around football some time now, and we understand that things change. You can't necessarily predict what's going to happen. You try to, but I know him and his family, they were tremendously thrilled. It was a special moment to see him get picked, and everything happens for a reason. To see the Commanders and the way that they built that draft class, they did a tremendous job from my perspective. Choosing a great quarterback. Jaden Daniels, and then also choosing Johnny Newton it was pretty cool to see that, and just hearing you say that, choosing all team captains, that's pretty cool right there. I never heard anything like that. I wonder how many times that's been done. So that's pretty cool.
And then before we let you go, you would have known Quan Martin pretty well, right? He was there last year with you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's here in Washington going into his sophomore season. What did you think of his first year, if you got to watch any of it, and what can you tell us about some of the growth he might be able to make?
Oh, yeah, I was excited to watch. Anytime we get a chance to watch an Illini in the NFL is pretty cool, pretty special, and saw him get a couple of picks out there and making plays. It's all exciting. Him and Johnny are really close, and so it's pretty cool to see that they're going to be on the same team. And he's obviously a pro, and he was that way here at the University of Illinois. Just a guy that could have easily been a team captain as well, and really led the secondary as one of the best in college football and Illinois football history. So really excited for him and what he's going to do moving forward, and just to have him and Johnny there in the same program is going to be in the same organization is going to be awesome.
Coach, this is awesome. Great insight, man, and congrats. It's probably like a proud papa type thing watching one of your Chargers go so high in the NFL and get ready to make an impact. So really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thanks, Grant. Thanks, Daddy.